Good evening and welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Alyssa Ashe. Thank you so much for tuning in to our nightly news recap. We are back from the rallies that we just had and really excited to bring you guys a recap of all the major stories that happened today. Of course, you will be hearing about Supreme Court Justice nominee Brett Kavanaugh and a variety of a lot of other stories today. President Trump did speak at the United Nations General Assembly today, so we might touch on that a little bit, although we did stream on it earlier. And I'll also be sharing with you guys business news, political news, world news, national news, just a variety of things. And it's really cool. You can see behind me, we actually have a new beautiful background. Shout out to our cameraman and Joe Seals for pulling this off. This is actually our view from Vegas. So this is actually our footage behind me. Really cool that you guys are able to see it. Beautiful view of Vegas. And thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Want to welcome everyone. I hope you had a fantastic Monday and that you started the week out strong. Shout out to some of our moderators. Roger Vega is in the house. Hope you are doing well, Roger. And let's see who else is here. Carl Peterson, Real Frank in Florida, and Webster Cal. Thank you guys for joining. Also some great members. Adelaine Marie Robinson is here. Duke Moneagle. And let's see some regulars. Swoosh for Trump and the British Patriot. Christopher Milner. Thank you guys all for joining. And yes, Abigail Blue says, I haven't seen Kavanaugh's interview. I'll watch it later. You really should. It was very compelling. And I'll be sharing with you guys a little clip of it soon. But you can really just see, for me, my biggest takeaway was just the pain in his eyes that he's even accused of this is absolutely ridiculous because he is just trying to serve his country and he is a good man. So I definitely stand with him and hope that he will be confirmed this Thursday, but we'll just have to see because this process has been absolutely chaotic and ridiculous, just with more allegations being made against him. And also, I wanted to shout out some viewers over on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us. Just going to shout out some first names over here. Terry, Rosemarie, Jenny, Daisy, Kimberlia, CJ, Mary Rita, Pagan, Kevin, and Russ. I hope you guys are all doing well. So also remember, as we go throughout the night, if there are any stories at all that I haven't mentioned yet that you'd really like to hear about, send them to me on Twitter at Alyssa RSBN, and I will throw up that Twitter handle just so that you guys are able to see it. I love interacting with you guys. That is my favorite part of my job, and I really want to bring news to you that matters to you, that's important, something that you would really want to spend your time learning about and listening to. So don't forget to send me those stories on Twitter at Alyssa RSBN. I will leave that up for a while just so you're able to see it. So diving into our first story, this is actually from Reuters News, about how President Trump's Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh rejects false accusations. So U.S. Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh said on Monday that he would not step aside after a second woman accused him of sexual misconduct decades ago, with President Trump and fellow Republicans showing no signs of relenting in their push for his Senate confirmation. Now, I am getting some more information about this in from headquarters right now, so stay tuned as I get that ready for you guys. Don't go anywhere. Okay, sorry about that. We had to get some things sorted out. So going back to Reuters News, Brett Kavanaugh just had his interview with the Story's Martha McCallum on Fox News. And he said, "The truth is, I've never sexually assaulted anyone in high school or otherwise." And these allegations dating back to the 1980s have put in jeopardy Kavanaugh's chances of winning confirmation to the top U.S. court in a Senate narrowly controlled by President Trump's party. And as you guys know, this is a high-stakes congressional election. High-stakes congressional elections are just weeks away. And Democrats really want to stall this until after midterms. But President Trump wants Brett Kavanaugh in the Supreme Court as soon as possible. So confirmation of the federal appeals court judge to the lifetime job would cement conservative control of the Supreme Court and advance President Trump's goal of moving the high court and the broader federal judiciary to the right. So the Senate Judiciary Committee has scheduled a hearing for Thursday to hear from Kavanaugh and Christine Blasey Ford, who last week accused him of sexual assault back in 1982. And now this was at a party that he says that he was not even present at. And it's really ridiculous how she doesn't even remember exactly when it was, exactly where it was, and just a lot of holes in her story, and there is no solid evidence at all that it actually happened. So Ford, who's a psychology professor at Palo Alto University in California, said that Kavanaugh attacked her and tried to remove her clothing while he was drunk at a party when he was 17 and she was 15, and they were both high school students in Maryland. But Kavanaugh said in the Fox News interview today, "I am not questioning and have not questioned that perhaps Dr. Ford at some point in her life was sexually assaulted by someone at some place, but what I know is I've never sexually assaulted anyone." And he added that he was not present at a party like the one described by Ford, and noted that the others Ford said were at the gathering had no recollection of it at all. So no one even remembers that this happened. And Kavanaugh said in that Fox News interview, "I want a fair process where I can defend my integrity and I know I'm telling the truth. I know my lifelong record and I'm not going to let false accusations drive me out of this process. I have faith in God and I have faith in the fairness of the American people." And he added that he did not have sexual intercourse or anything close to sexual intercourse in high school or for many years thereafter. So it was a very personal interview tonight. Now, a second woman, and this is also according to Reuters News, Deborah Ramirez, accused Kavanaugh in an article published in the New Yorker magazine on Sunday, and we will look at that article, of sexual misconduct during the 1983 to 84 academic year when both attended Yale University. Now, Ramirez is cited by the New Yorker as saying Kavanaugh exposed himself to her during a drunken dormitory party. And Kavanaugh and his Republican allies portrayed the allegations as part of a smear campaign by Democrats who have fought his nomination from the outset. And Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell made clear that no matter what happened at the hearing, the full Senate would vote on Kavanaugh's confirmation. And McConnell was just really upset about this, and he said to the Senate floor, "This fine nominee to the Supreme Court will receive a vote in the Senate in the near future." And he said Senate Democrats and their allies are trying to destroy a man's personal and professional life on the basis of decades-old allegations that are unsubstantiated and uncorroborated. And President Trump, who himself was accused during the 2016 presidential election of sexual misconduct with numerous women, offered words of support for Kavanaugh while in New York to attend the UN General Assembly. He said, "Judge Kavanaugh is an outstanding person. I am with him all the way." And President Trump called these allegations politically motivated. And a classmate, or a friend actually, of Deborah Ramirez said that she had no recollection of these accusations either, and thought that her allegations may also be politically motivated. So also some more information from Reuters. In a letter made public on Monday to the committee's Republican chairman, Senator Chuck Grassley, Ford said she had faced death threats and was relying on her lawyers and Grassley to agree to the conditions that will allow me to testify in a fair setting. And Ford wrote, "While I am frightened, please know my fear will not hold me back from testifying, and you will be provided answers to all of your questions." And really interesting that she has been reached out to many different media outlets, news stations, TV programs to be on their shows, and she has denied all of those invitations right now. So protesters opposing Kavanaugh's confirmation held rallies in Washington, New York, Philadelphia, and elsewhere, and dozens were arrested in Senate office buildings. About 200 people gathered in front of the Supreme Court building in Washington, chanting, "I believe Christine Ford." And U.S. Capitol Police reported that 128 people were arrested on charges of unlawfully demonstrating in Senate office buildings. And the committee's top Democrat, Senator Dianne Feinstein, has called on Grassley to postpone Thursday's hearing in order to investigate Ramirez's accusations. And the Kavanaugh controversy is unfolding just weeks before November 6th congressional elections, in which Democrats are trying to take control of the House and the Senate against a backdrop of the Me Too movement fighting sexual harassment and assault. So a lot of different factors going on right now. And Republicans, with a 51-49 Senate majority, can confirm Kavanaugh if they stay united. And so far, no Republican senators have said they would vote against him. So that is definitely good. And I am checking messages right now, getting some more information in from you guys. Thank you so much for sending it to me. Really appreciate you. Okay, and some more information about this. Also, I would like to show you guys the letter that Kavanaugh released today to the Senate Judiciary Committee. So I'm going to pull that up and we're going to go through that together. And he wrote this to Charles Grassley and Dianne Feinstein. So he wrote, "Dear Chairman Grassley and Ranking Member Feinstein, when I testified in front of the Senate 3 weeks ago, I explained my belief that fair process is foundational to justice and to our democracy. At that time, I sat before the Senate Judiciary Committee for more than 31 hours and answered questions under oath. I then answered more questions at a confidential session. The following week, I responded to more than 1,200 written questions, more than have been submitted to all previous Supreme Court nominees combined. Only after that exhaustive process was complete did I learn through the news media about a 36-year-old allegation from high school that had been asserted months earlier and withheld from me throughout the hearing process. First, it was an anonymous allegation that I categorically and unequivocally denied. Soon after the accuser was identified, I repeated my denial on the record and made clear that I wished to appear before the committee. I then repeated my denial to committee investigators under criminal penalties for false statements. All of the witnesses identified by Dr. Ford as being present at the party she describes are on the record to the committee, saying they have no recollection of any such party happening. I asked to testify before the committee, again under oath, as soon as possible, so that both Dr. Ford and I could both be heard. I thank Chairman Grassley for scheduling that hearing for Thursday. Last night, another false and uncorroborated accusation from 35 years ago was published. Once again, those alleged to have been witnesses to the event deny it ever happened. There is now a frenzy to come up with something, anything, that will block this process and a vote on my confirmation from occurring. These are smears, pure and simple, and they debase our public disclosure. But they're but they are also a threat to any man or woman who wishes to serve our country. Such grotesque and obvious character assassination, if allowed to succeed, will dissuade competent and good people of all political persuasions from service. As I told the committee during my hearing, a federal judge must be independent, not swayed by public or political pressure. That is the kind of judge I will always be. I will not be intimidated into withdrawing from this process. The coordinated effort to destroy my good name will not drive me out. The vile threats of violence against my family will not drive me out. The last-minute character assassination will not succeed. I have devoted my career to serving the public and the cause of justice, and particularly to promoting the equality and dignity of women. Women from every phase of my life have come forward to attest to my character. I am grateful to them. I owe it to them and to my family to defend my integrity and my name. I look forward to answering questions from the Senate on Thursday. Sincerely, Brett M. Kavanaugh. So really great letter, and good that he is definitely staying strong despite these accusations. And of course, I would love to know what you guys think of this as well. Do you think that he should be confirmed on Thursday? Do you believe him, or do you believe his accusers? Please let me know on Twitter at Alyssa RSBN. That would be much appreciated, and love seeing all of your comments, interaction over on YouTube and Facebook as well. It is so great that you guys are really enjoying this, but I want to keep going with some more information about Kavanaugh. Also, I wanted to tell you Mitch McConnell's response to this. And this is some information from the Daily Caller, which I know many of you are familiar with. So, Republican Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell has broken his silence on the newest allegations to surface against Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh on Monday. McConnell took to the Senate floor visibly frustrated and called the allegations a smear campaign because maximum damage at the last minute to cause maximum damage at the last minute of the nomination. And the senator also took out his frustrations directly on Democrats, quoting the reporter of the newest allegations, saying Democrats have been looking for a new accuser. Also, love your comment over on YouTube. Simo K. Thanks Bay says, yeah, it's a last-minute character assassination, desperate attempt. And Chain O says, Kavanaugh is a true patriot. Thank you both for your comments. So back to the Daily Caller, McConnell said, according to the reporter of this second allegation, the accuser came forward because Senate Democrats began looking. And now they're calling for even further delays and further obstruction over a second decades-old allegation that is so thin and so unsupported that the New York Times refused to even run a story about it. And McConnell cited that the New York Times passed on the story because they could not pin down any witnesses to corroborate this story. And McConnell said, oh, but that hasn't stopped the Judiciary Committee Democrats from shoveling it onto their smear campaign and demanding for further delays. They just wanted it to wind up in the press, another orchestrated last-minute hit on the nominee. And McConnell said, even by the far left standards, this shameful smear campaign has hit a new low. Senate Democrats and their allies are trying to destroy a man's personal and professional life on the basis of decade-old allegations that are unsubstantiated and uncorroborated. And that is the so-called resistance. That's what the so-called resistance has become, a smear campaign, pure and simple, aided and abetted by members of the United States Senate. And McConnell finished his full-throated defense of Judge Kavanaugh by promising a vote for the judge in the near future. He said Judge Kavanaugh will be voted on here on the Senate floor, up or down, in the near future. So really great to hear Mitch McConnell's perspective. And I believe that there's a video about that as well. And so I want to try to pull that up for you guys. Stay tuned. And McConnell did say that this allegation was disgusting, and he defiantly promised a vote in the near future, whether it's up or down. So going to show you guys just a piece of his statement. And this is from Fox News.
To take on this afterwards, we have the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell now speaking on the Senate floor about Brett Kavanaugh. Watch this.
Democrats have signaled for months they'd put on whatever performance the far left special interests demanded and throw all the mud they could manufacture. But it's not like they didn't warn us. But even by the far left's standards, this shameful smear campaign has hit a new low. I'll get into the specifics in just a moment. But I want to be perfectly clear about what has taken place. Senate Democrats and their allies are trying to destroy a man's personal and professional life on the basis of decades-old allegations that are unsubstantiated and uncorroborated. That, Mr. President, is where we are. This is what the so-called resistance has become. A smear campaign, pure and simple, aided and abetted by members of the United States Senate. 8 weeks ago, Democrats on the Judiciary Committee received a letter from Dr. Christine Blasey Ford with an uncorroborated allegation of misconduct. She had requested the matter be handled discreetly and confidentially. The responsible next step would have been alerting the full committee so a confidential, bipartisan investigation could begin. Committee staff would have followed their standard practice for investigating background information. Senators could have questioned Judge Kavanaugh in their meetings or in closed session while respecting Dr. Ford's request for confidentiality. Oh, but Democrats didn't do any of that. They sat on Dr. Ford's letter for 7 weeks, kept it secret. They did nothing. They bid the time. And then they threw Professor Ford's wishes overboard and leaked it to the press.
So wanted to take a second just to mention how they sat on that letter, the Democrats, for 7 weeks. And I love how he says they threw Blasey Ford's wishes out the door, threw them in the trash can, didn't care about them at all, and exposed her name. And now she is also receiving death threats, and her family is going through a hard time as well. So just absolutely ridiculous, the timing of this, just how it came out right before he was supposed to be confirmed. And then we have Deborah Ramirez, another one coming out just out of the blue, and again from that same period, like 35, 36 years ago. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Also, wanted to share with you guys some information from the Daily Wire. So a Yale Law School actually canceled classes so that students could protest Kavanaugh, which is ridiculous. And also over on YouTube, before we get into this, I wanted to shout out, thank you so much, Jesus is Lord 5454, for that $14.99 donation. Really appreciate you. That'll help us to get to our next rally that we have upcoming this Saturday in Wheeling, West Virginia, followed by Johnson City, Tennessee on Monday. So we're really excited to bring you guys that coverage all day long. Stay tuned for that. So anyways, back to the Daily Wire. Yale Law School was forced to cancel some classes Monday after students staged a walkout protest against Brett Kavanaugh, who, as you know, went to Yale Law School. Now, the students were dressed in black, and they staged a sit-in to demand a full investigation of sexual assault allegations leveled at Kavanaugh by Dr. Christine Blasey Ford and Deborah Ramirez, even though witnesses named by both women in reference to their respective accusations have failed to back them up. No one is saying, yes, this really happened. There are no classmates, no friends of Ford and Ramirez that can back them up. In fact, there are some that are not backing them up. I don't have it on me right now, but the article of Ramirez's best friend, I'll try to find that for you guys, said that she was really close with Ramirez and they would share just personal details to each other, and she never remembered hearing this, and that this could even be politically motivated. So Ramirez said that Kavanaugh exposed himself to her while he was drunk at a party during their freshman year at Yale. Now, organizers who planned the protest in connection with a number of anti-Kavanaugh demonstrations organized around the country by NARAL, the Women's March, and other feminist organizations told the Associated Press that Kavanaugh is a real threat. So Yale Law School Dean Heather Gerken issued a statement seemingly in support of the protesting students, though Gerken issued a statement earlier on in the nomination process praising Kavanaugh's work as a lower court judge. So interesting flip there. And she said the allegations of sexual misconduct against Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh are rightly causing deep concern at Yale Law School and across the country. As dean, I cannot take a position on the nomination, but I am so proud of the work our community is doing to engage with these issues, and I stand with them in supporting the importance of fair process, the rule of law, and the integrity of the legal system. So Yale Law students, the Associated Press notes, are also traveling to Washington, D.C. for the nomination hearings on Thursday. So Thursday is definitely going to be insane, so stay tuned. And let's see, pulling up some more information for you guys from this. Also want to show you pieces of the interview from earlier on Fox News with Martha McCallum as well. And this is the clip, I believe, where he says, "I'm not going anywhere. If not, it's the next one." Also, thank you so much. Just received $5.99 from Matthew Timonen. Thank you, Matthew. He says, "Thank you, Alyssa, for doing a great job. Hashtag Red Wave." Thank you, Matthew. Really, really appreciate you. And can't wait to use that on the way to the rallies. Thank you so much. And, you know, Kavanaugh will just have to continue defending himself for at least this week, probably weeks, months, years to come. He is just going to have to stay strong, and hopefully no more allegations will come out. And now I'm going to show you guys just the beginning of the interview.
Process where I can defend my integrity and clear my name. And all I'm asking for is fairness, and that I be heard in this process.
Ashley, what has this been like for you the past couple of weeks? I know you've had death threats and all kinds of things coming your way. How does that feel?
This process is incredibly difficult. Harder than we imagined, and we imagined it might be hard. But at the end of the day, our faith is strong, and we know that we're on the right path, and we're just going to stick to it. So.
Let's get into some of these allegations, because you've responded to them in statements, but you haven't had a chance to respond to them in a fuller way. And Christine Ford is expected to testify on Thursday that you, at a party in high school, pinned her to a bed, held your hand over her mouth. She said she was afraid that she could inadvertently be killed at that moment. She says that you tried to take off her clothes, and she believes that you would have raped her if Mark Judge hadn't climbed on top and everyone tumbled to the floor.
So we cannot show you guys the whole interview because it's a big deal, it's exclusive, and we don't want to step on anyone's toes, especially Fox News. But if you want to watch the whole thing, just go to foxnews.com. You will see it. And also, just received $25 from Kathleen Hagen. Thank you so much, Kathleen, who says thank you for real news. Well, thank you, Kathleen, for your donation. Really, really appreciate you and everyone watching. Thank you so much. And that's funny. British Patriot said, what kind of doctor is she anyway? Doctor of BS. She is a doctor of psychology, I believe, and professor. But still, thank you, British Patriot, for your feedback. And right now, pulling some more information about this for you guys before we move on to the next story. So I want to go into a little bit about Deborah Ramirez. She was the second woman who accused Kavanaugh of sexual misconduct. And this is from the NewYorkPost.com. So another woman has come forward and publicly accused Kavanaugh of sexual misconduct, saying that he exposed himself to her at a drunken dorm room party. And Deborah Ramirez, a Yale classmate of Kavanaugh's, spoke to Ronan Farrow and Jane Mayer of the New Yorker about the incident, which went down during the 1983-84 academic school year when she and Supreme Court nominee were freshmen. The two of them were playing a drinking game with a small group of students when Kavanaugh, who is already facing accusations of committing a sexual assault in high school by Blasey Ford, allegedly exposed himself to Ramirez. And a couple quotes by Ramirez that I do not want to read. You can guess what they say, but also I will link the article here, put it in the chat if you want to see it. So, Ramirez, she's 53 now. She said she remembered seeing Kavanaugh standing up with his pants down, laughing. And the New Yorker was not able to confirm with other eyewitnesses that Kavanaugh was present at the party. But at least one person who declined to be named said he was told about the incident and was 100% sure it involved the judge. But he did decline to be named. And this classmate said, "I've known this all along. It's been on my mind all these years. When his name came up, it was a big deal." Now, friends of both Kavanaugh and Ramirez, however, disputed the allegations. They said that they were not true at all, and the others remained anonymous. And the group said in a joint statement, "We can say in confidence that if the incident Debbie alleges ever occurred, we would have seen or heard about it, and we did not. The behavior she describes would be completely out of character for Brett. In addition, some of us knew Debbie long after Yale, and she never described this incident until Brett's Supreme Court nomination was pending." And one former friend who was married to a male classmate who allegedly took part in the aforementioned drinking game said she and Ramirez were best friends for years, and she never heard about the incident. And this is that best friend that I was telling you guys about. She said, "We shared intimate details of our lives, and I was never told this story by her or anyone else. It never came up. I didn't see it. I never heard of it happening." And Ramirez has called on the FBI to investigate the claims, as have Democratic Senate lawmakers who first learned about the accusations last week, along with senior GOP staffers, the New Yorker article said. So in a statement late Sunday, however, Taylor Foy, a spokesman for the Judiciary Committee, said Republicans only found out about Ramirez's claim in the article. And Foy said Democrats actively withheld information from the Republicans as part of a political takedown. And Senator Marie Hirono of Hawaii, a Democrat on the committee, called the new claims serious, credible, and disturbing, and said they should be fully investigated. And he said this alleged event from 35 years ago did not happen. The people who knew me then know that this did not happen and have said so. This is a smear, plain and simple. So Kavanaugh added, I look forward to testifying on Thursday about the truth and defending my good name and the reputation for character and integrity I have spent a lifetime building against these last-minute allegations. And the White House also sent a statement supporting Kavanaugh. And White House spokesperson Carrie Kupex said this 35-year-old uncorroborated claim is the latest in a coordinated smear campaign by the Democrats designed to tear down a good man. This claim is denied by many women and men who knew Judge Kavanaugh at the time in college. Say the White House stands firmly behind Judge Kavanaugh. So Kavanaugh's other accuser, meanwhile, said Sunday that she is committed to appearing before an open Senate hearing Thursday. And Ford's lawyers wrote, despite actual threats to her safety and her life, Dr. Blasey believes it is important for senators to hear directly from her about the sexual assault committed against her. She has agreed to move forward with a hearing, even though the committee has refused to subpoena Mark Judge. And Stormy Daniels' lawyer, Michael Avenatti, on Sunday claimed he's now representing a woman with credible information regarding Judge Kavanaugh and Mark Judge. And Avenatti tweeted Sunday night, we will be demanding the opportunity to present testimony to the committee and will likewise be demanding that Judge and others be subpoenaed to testify. The nomination must be withdrawn. And also wanted to shout out, thank you so much. We just got a $5 donation over on YouTube from Richard. Thank you so much, Richard, who says these dubious allegations are the Democrats' nuclear option, but the truth will prevail. I completely agree. Thank you so much, Richard, for your support. And I also want to check over on Facebook to make sure you guys don't have any comments or questions. Interesting comment from Jody Patterson on Facebook. She said the second accuser was coached by her lawyer for 6 days before she, quote, remembered, unquote, the incident. Really interesting, Jody. Would love if you could link an article to that. Maybe I could look into it a little bit more and share that with everyone. And over on Facebook, Anne Marie says, we're not falling for their lies. All the Democrats do is lie. Look how they lied during the debate and town hall meetings, feeding Hillary the questions and using her using an earpiece to feed her the answers. Keep an eye on voting booths in November. They will be out in full force. Red storm coming. Vote red all down the ballot. Thank you so much, Anne Marie. And let's see, before we move on to our next story, just want to make sure I don't have any other updates about this for you guys. This one I really like. This is from the Daily Caller. And it is by Amber Athey, that Kavanaugh says he has faith in God during the confirmation process. So Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh said he is placing his faith in God and the American people as the public brings out and tries to accuse him of sexual misconduct allegations against him. So 2 women, as you know, have come forward after the Senate confirmation hearings to accuse Kavanaugh of sexual misconduct. Dr. Christine Blasey Ford claims Kavanaugh groped her at a high school party over 3 decades ago, while Deborah Ramirez alleges he exposed himself to her during a college dorm party at Yale University. And during an exclusive interview with Fox News' Martha McCallum on Monday, Kavanaugh said the accusations are false. He said, "I want a fair process where I can defend my integrity, and I know I'm telling the truth. I know my lifelong record, and I'm not going to let false accusations drive me out of this process." And he said, "I have faith in God, and I have faith in the fairness of the American people." And also wanted to shout out, thank you so much. We just got a $14.99 donation from Damon over on YouTube. Thank you so much. He said, "It's good to be back in here with my people, because in prison, hey, ain't nothing but them fellas. You dig? Love this channel." Thank you so much, Damon. Read that the best I could. But anyways, thank you for your donation, your support. We are very glad that you are back here with us too. I remember you donating before and writing a similar message that we didn't read out, so I wanted to read this one out. So thank you so much. And going to move on, since you donated, I wanted to take a second just to tell you guys that may not be familiar with RSBN, why people donate and what it actually does for us. So we are a small, conservative, independent online news network, and we cannot survive without your donations. We actually have the opportunity to travel to President Trump rallies all around the country and really just show you guys the crowds. That is what RSBN became famous for a couple years ago during the election, really just panning the crowds. And it was really cool. I don't know if you guys know this, but this past rally in Springfield, Missouri, President Trump actually retweeted our tweet. And I want to show that to you guys a little later when we look at everything on Twitter. I'll pull it up. It was really a cool moment. But anyways, we're able to show you guys the crowd and really just get to know the heart of President Trump's supporters. We ask them why they're there, you know, why it's important to them, why they love our president so much. And so it's really cool that we're able to do that. Now, logistically, a couple different ways you can donate. One of them is right here on YouTube. It's super easy, and also thank you to our moderators for commenting those links I'm about to share with you guys. So on YouTube, you just hit that super chat button that is in the bottom corner. It's the $sign, and it's a really fun way to donate because your name will actually come up in a bright color with a message, and of course, as long as it's appropriate, I will share it with everyone. And also, I'm going to take just a minute to show you the different ways that you can donate from our website. You go to rsbnetwork.com/donate, or you can just go to rsbnetwork.com, and then you can't tell in this view, but right here above the right side there is a red bar, and the 4th tab over says donate. So you can just click that and see the different options right there. So that first option you'll see is actually PayPal, which is a really great way to donate because we actually get to keep 90% of that compared to YouTube's 70%. So if you just click that PayPal link, you'll see it'll come up. You can log in if you already have a PayPal account, or if it's your first time donating, that's great. Thank you. You can just enter the amount and your debit or credit card information, your billing address, and your contact information. And backing up a little bit, if maybe you feel a little more invested in RSBN, you really like what you're seeing, you can donate through Patreon, which is a really fun way to donate because it's actually where you can become a monthly donor, a patron, and receive fun things in return like pens, pencils, hats, t-shirts, blankets, just different things with RSBN on them so that you're able to remember us and remember to watch us with your friends and to share us with people in your community as well. And so you can see on the side all the different levels going from the entry level where you're just donating $1 or more a month, and know that every dollar counts. All the way up to the all access level when you are donating $500 or more a month. And so we're really thankful for those donors too. Every dollar counts. And the last way you can donate, you can actually write a check out to RSBN if you're not comfortable donating online. We completely understand and respect that. And you just write it out to 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344 in Auburn, Alabama, 36830. That is our P.O. Box address. And I'm going to pull up the next story for you guys, but remember, if there are any articles, any news stories that you have prepared or that you want me to research a little more, look into, please let me know. I would be really glad to share that with you guys because I really want to bring you news that matters most to you. So switching gears a little bit, wanted to show you guys a fun story. This is from Breitbart, and it is a Trump 2020 banner that two men actually hung up in Disney World in Magic Kingdom on Sunday. So going to leave that picture up for you for a second, and we will go through that. So you can see it says re-elect Donald J. Trump 2020, keep America great. And yes, Simo K. Bay Rosenstein is meeting with President Trump on Thursday. That was confirmed today after all the back and forth, whether he was going to resign or be fired. Just a lot of fake stories floating around. And then finally, President Trump called him from New York, where he was at the United Nations General Assembly meeting, and they agreed to meet on Thursday. So, like I said, this is from Breitbart. This banner was hung on the park's train station, but its removal was immediately requested by staff members, and NBC's WESH Channel 2 cut some footage of some cheering and others booing at the display before it came down. And Disney prohibits unauthorized events, demonstrations, or speeches, or the usage of any flag, banner, or sign for commercial purposes, or to incite a crowd as part of the park rules listed on its website. And so far, the company has made no official comment on the matter. And according to that news station, a man claiming to be the person who hung the banner called WESH Channel 2 News on Monday and said he had actually been banned from Disney World. So also another crazy story. This is in New Jersey. I don't know if you guys saw this already or not today. So a baby girl was actually found crawling across a New Jersey road. Of course, this prompted an investigation. And this is from Fox News. So a baby girl found crawling across a New Jersey road Saturday prompted officials to launch an investigation, and a photo of the shocking incident has gone viral on social media. And the motorist who spotted the child, Corey Cannon of Eatontown, told the Asbury Park Press he noticed the toddler crawling across the road in Lakewood around 5 p.m. And he told the newspaper, "I thought it was a toy or something until she moved. I knew I needed to get some sort of proof, and my GPS was open on my phone, so I used my work vehicle to slow down traffic behind me and took the picture as I was exiting the vehicle and halting oncoming cars." And Cannon said he then watched as a neighbor came out to the street and returned her baby to her home. And then he posted a now deleted photo to Facebook of the child, which has since gone viral on social media with people sharing and commenting on the stunning sight. And Lakewood police told NewJersey.com the family had no idea the child had gotten out of the home and that a door may have been left open by an older sibling. So really, really dangerous. And the mayor of Lakewood, Ray Coles, told the Asbury Park Press that workers from the state child welfare organization have, of course, been in contact with the baby's family. And he told the news outlet, anytime you have a child that's endangered, they get involved to make sure the child is safe. And also some sad news I have not mentioned to you yet. Florida Congressional candidate April Freeman has unexpectedly passed away at 54 years old. I'm going to pull up a picture of her in case you are unfamiliar with her. So some information from the Herald Tribune. So April Freeman, Democratic candidate to replace U.S. Representative Tom Rooney in District 17 of Florida, has passed away on Sunday. And her husband, David Freeman, posted the news on her Facebook page Monday afternoon by writing, "It's with great sadness that I must inform all of you that my beloved wife, April, passed away suddenly last night. To all of her family and friends here on Facebook, my heart aches with you." And in a brief phone interview on Monday, he added, "It appears she was having a heart attack." And he said, "That's all I know right now. I'll post more. I have no further comment." So April Freeman, 54, was making her third run for Congress, opposing the Republican nominee, Sarasota State Senator Greg Steube, for the District 17 seat. And she lost to Rooney in 2016, and in 2014 lost the District 19 seat to Kurt Clausen. And Freeman actually put her career as a TV and film producer on hold in pursuit of a congressional seat, relying on the income of her husband David, a union pipe fitter and HVAC specialist. So she is survived by 2 children and 2 grandchildren, and our thoughts and prayers right now are with her family and friends that are grieving. So in a prepared statement, Florida Democratic Party Chair Terry Rizzo expressed sadness over Freeman's death. And Rizzo said, "April put her heart and soul into her community, and she was dedicated to making a better future for all Floridians. Just last night, she was in the office making calls and working to get out the vote. Her work ethic and passion was an inspiration to all of us. It is a tremendous loss to the Democratic Party and to all who knew her." And Rizzo also said, "Our hearts break for her family and loved ones who are grieving her loss." And Sarasota County Supervisor of Elections Ron Turner said the state party will work with local county parties that are affected to come up with a nominee And he added, the ballot's already printed, so essentially a vote for April Freeman will be for whoever the nominee ends up being. And Stubbe tweeted on Monday, my thoughts and prayers are with April Freeman's family in the wake of her tragic passing. I respect her service to our community and admire her commitment to the causes she cared about. Out of respect to her memory, next week's campaign events will be canceled. And District 17 covers a sprawling area touching 9 counties, including portions of Sarasota and Charlotte. So Freeman, who grew up in Michigan in a Republican household, had a longtime interest in party politics. And she volunteered when she was just 16 for Ronald Reagan's presidential campaign in 1980. In 2012, she worked as a fellow on the re-election campaign of President Barack Obama. She had a bachelor's in communications from the University of Michigan. And in 2013, she graduated both the Emily's List Political Opportunity Program and the Women's Campaign School at Yale University, which is administered by the Yale Law School. So definitely some hard news there. Like I said, our thoughts and prayers are with her family and friends. And I'm going to prepare the next story for you guys. But like I said, if you have any stories at all you would like to send to me, I will throw my Twitter link up here so that you'll be able to see it. It's at Alyssa RSBN. Super easy to remember. So if you just follow me and share your stories, that would be really great. Looks like I have a couple coming in that I will definitely share throughout the broadcast. So thank you so much, everyone, that sending those stories to me. And Indie Wars said, did you see Rosenstein is going to resign? Thoughts? Yes, I actually did a broadcast about that earlier today. So make sure to check it out. You will see it over on YouTube and it's on Facebook still, Periscope. But he's not resigning and he's not being fired. It was all just kind of up in the air from different media outlets, but he will be meeting with President Trump on Thursday, and hopefully they will be able to reach a conclusion then. And really interesting, just got kind of a different article from the British Patriot. Thank you so much for sharing this. So this is from the Daily Caller. Wow, that authorities find $18 million worth of cocaine in donated shipment of bananas. So there is a picture too, but first I'm going to go through the article with you guys and then we will look at that picture. Like I said, this is from the Daily Caller. So a shipment of bananas donated to a Texas prison contained 540 packages of cocaine, according to Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Also, wanted to shout out over on YouTube, thank you so much. We just received a $1.99 donation from Steve Nisley, State to State Interior Painter. Thank you so much, Steve. Really appreciate you. And he says, as always, I appreciate the news. Well, thank you, Steve. I'm so glad that you're watching and enjoying it. And thank you very much for your donation. So back to this article. This is from the Daily Caller. So 2 officers from the Wayne Scott unit in Brazoria County, Texas, were picking up 2 pallets containing 45 boxes of bananas that were being donated by Ports of America in Freeport on Friday because they were too ripe, according to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. So the sergeants picking up the bananas said one pallet felt different from the other. When they looked inside, there were boxes of a powdery white substance. In the post read, they snipped the straps, pulled free the box and opened it up, inside, under a bundle of bananas, he found another bundle. Inside that, what appeared to be a white powdery substance. And it added that the U.S. Customs arrived on the scene and the substance tested positive for cocaine. Authorities estimated the worth of the cocaine to have a street value of nearly $18 million, and the Drug Enforcement Administration and U.S. Customs and Border Protection are investigating the situation. So wherever the cocaine came from, it's not the first time smugglers have used banana crates as transportation, according to NPR. And Spanish police found 9 tons of cocaine in a banana shipping container sent from Colombia in April. And in February, Albanian authorities discovered 1,350 pounds of narcotic drugs in another banana shipment from Colombia. So also want to show you guys these pictures that were posted on Facebook by the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Okay, so here's one you can see just many boxes filled with cocaine. And another picture down here looks like some smaller boxes that were inside those banana boxes, if you can see that.
Racing isn't the only thing on my mind.
And really sweet, just received another positive story from one of our viewers. Well, a positive story. John Mitchell, thank you so much for that. And this is from CBS News. And it's that a blind running back actually scored 2 touchdowns, aims for NFL career. And like I said, this is from CBS News. So it's not every day that the crowd goes wild for a late touchdown in a blowout football game, but one recent touchdown was a little different than most. Adonis Watt, a freshman running back for the Brophy Broncos in Phoenix, is 6 feet 2 inches tall, 140 pounds, and blind. And he said, "I'm just very confident of my ability, my speed, my power." And he has a rare form of glaucoma, which took his sight when he was only 5 years old, but it could not temper his passion for the game. He said, "My most absolute favorite part is winning. It's very enjoyable just to stand up and actually run someone over." And he added, "I pretty much see nothing. You just got to trust your abilities, trust your whole lineman, and trust the play that it will work." And when he was a child, his mom, Veronica, hoped he might try something a little safer. She said, "I believe in him. This is news to you, but this is what he does," I said. "And they're going to hit you in your blind spot." And he said, "All my sides are blind." And Scott Heidman, his coach, also had some concerns. He said, "I was fearful. This is a game that people are afraid to play, even with their sight. And that's why you might notice the defense give up a little in that first touchdown run, but then 2 weeks later, something remarkable happened. Watt scored 2 touchdowns against a team that didn't know he was blind and couldn't do anything to stop him." And Veronica said, "He lost his sight, but he has a whole vision for life." And Veronica's his mother. And Watt said, "I want to take it to the NFL all the way." And then it says, "Who needs sight with that kind of vision?" Thank you so much, John Mitchell, for such a positive article. Really appreciate that. And Steve LB asked if the screen behind me is live downtown footage. He says it looks cool at night. It's not live. We actually were able to get this when we were just in Vegas for our last rally. But glad you like it. I definitely think it is very cool. And going to pull up the next story for you guys. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. This one is really interesting. And it's from Fox Business, a little bit of business news for tonight. So Weight Watchers is actually changing their name and shifting their focus. Weight Watchers is not only trimming its name, but it's doing a complete makeover of the 55-year-old company. So the former weight loss go-to destination now wants to recast itself as a technology experience company known as WW. And the new name is short for Wellness That Works, and it's intended to appeal to people who want to lead an overall healthy lifestyle instead of just focusing on weight loss. And Mindy Grossman, the company's president and chief executive, said, "We're putting our decades of knowledge and expertise in behavioral science to work for an even greater mission." And Grossman said the rebrand includes a relaunch of its mobile app and a partnership with a meditation company called Headspace. And she said, "We are becoming the world's partner in wellness. No matter what your goal is to lose weight, eat healthier, move more, develop a positive mindset, or all of the above, we will deliver science-based solutions that fit into people's lives." And the move is only the latest effort the New York City-based company has been making since striking gold after its stock gained momentum when media mogul Oprah Winfrey took a 10% stake in the company in 2015. So since Winfrey's investment, the company's share price has risen from $6.79 per share to around $69 today. And to top it off, its subscriber base is up 29% year over year to a record 6 million. And Oprah Winfrey also said in a statement, she said, "From the moment I chose to invest in the company and join the board, I have believed the role WW can play in people's lives goes far beyond a number on the scale." And she says, "As Weight Watchers becomes WW, I believe we will continue to inspire people not only to eat well, but to move more, to connect with others, and continue experiencing the joys of a healthy life." So not sure if this is just a marketing decision or a complete transformation, but we will just have to follow Weight Watchers and see. And also looks like I just received some information, some more articles from the British Patriot. Thank you so much for this. And this is actually from the Daily Wire. So a student sues their college after being labeled disruptive for handing out Christian-themed Valentines. So this just came out today, even though it is about Valentine's Day cards. So it's still recent. So Polly Olson is suing Northeast Wisconsin Technical College after being labeled disruptive for passing out Christian-themed Valentines outside her school's free speech zone. So on February 14th, 2018, Olson said she walked around campus and handed out Valentines that said Jesus loves you, Romans 5:8, you are special, 1 John 4:11, God is love, John 4:11, and you are so loved and cared for, 1 Peter 5:7. So about 15 minutes in, she said a campus security guard told her she was breaking school policy for soliciting despite handing out the Valentines for free. And in an interview with the Daily Wire, Olson said she asked the security officer why she could not hand out the Valentines, and he told her it was because the content may be found to be offensive. And later, she had a meeting with the school's director of diversity that confirmed the policy to her. And Olson said most people she gave the Valentines to reacted positively. She said everyone said thank you. The only person that refused a Valentine was the security guard, and that's because he was doing his job. And the Wisconsin Institute for Liberty and Law, the organization representing Olson, alleges that the school's public assembly policy is unconstitutional. So according to the lawsuit, the NWTC restricts students from expressive activities to a tiny portion of campus, requiring prior approval even within that tiny area. And the lawsuit claims this area is less than 0.5% of the campus. Now, according to campus reform, students must reverse the zone in advance and may only use it between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m., and may only do so for 3 consecutive days. And Olson says the zone is where students do not congregate, making interacting with other students difficult. So the lawsuit also alleges that the restrictions were applied based upon the viewpoint expressed by the plaintiff, and that Olson was told she was possibly disrupting the learning environment. And the lawsuit refutes this and states that she did not hand out the Valentines in an environment during any class, in the library, or in any area where students were in a learning environment. So Olson also said she handed out similar Valentines back in 2014, but was told by campus security that she must stop. An NWTC Vice President of Advancement, Karen Smith, told Campus Reform that free speech is exercised every day in many different contexts all over the NWTC campus, and that the policy deals with public assembly, as the law recognizes that unlike a public park, not all physical areas of educational institutions are open for public assembly. And Olson said passing out Christian-themed Valentines is a tradition she has partaken in with her mother since she was a little girl at hospitals and nursing homes. And after her mother passed away 5 years ago, she said she continued this tradition on her campus in her mother's memory. And so sad she's now being told she can't do it. And she said, I hand them out because of the love that God has shown me. And without that love, I wouldn't be here because of going through losing people. I wouldn't be able to do it without Jesus. And I want others who face desperate situations to know that love and that someone cares. And Casey Maddox, who is a senior fellow for free speech and toleration at the Charles Koch Institute, who has been involved with more than 50 cases related to free speech on campuses, called the school's actions an egregious violation of First Amendment rights. And Maddox said in an interview, the law is very clear here. Public colleges can't tell students when and where they can speak on their own public college campus, and they certainly can't require them to get advance permission to speak. It's a clear violation of the First Amendment, and it is likely the court will end up finding that here. So Maddox also said that policies such as the ones Olson is battling are troubling because they communicate to students that your First Amendment rights only extend as far as the college wants them to extend, and that's not how it works in our system. So Maddox encourages other students to be aware of what your free speech policies are on campus. Take them up with your school and try to get those policies corrected even when they aren't being enforced against you. It's important to leave your campus more free for those who come after you. Oftentimes you can talk to your college and have them fix these. I think it would be good for all students to take these sort of violations seriously and work to see these kinds of policies change on your campus. So really interesting story there. Big shout out to the British Patriot. Thank you so much for sending that my way. And I am checking just to make sure you guys have not sent me anything else yet tonight. Okay, looks like nothing new on Twitter right now, so I will go back to what I have prepared for you guys, so don't go anywhere. And before we get to our next story, which is a little bit of technology news, I wanted to take a minute to go through President Trump's tweets from today. I always kind of do it towards the middle or end of the broadcast, but I know that you guys really love that. So want to pull up those tweets real quick. And you can see our Twitter account here. We have a new cover photo from the last rally in Springfield, Missouri. That was so much fun. And also, we just received over on YouTube 2 donations. Wow, thank you. $2 from Manning Luck. Thank you so much. He says, from my grandsons, your hair is awesome. Thank you so much, Manning Luck. Really appreciate that. And Rick Moore donated $24.99. Thank you so much, Rick. And he says, have the broadcast go longer. We'll try to make to Tennessee rally, but I'm in Mount Juliet, a bit far, but I'll do my best. Awesome. Thank you so much, Rick Moore. Would absolutely love if we could see you in Tennessee. Please find us on Monday in Johnson City. That would be so much fun to actually meet you, and thank you for all of your donations. So now I'm going to pull up President Trump's tweets, a couple of videos here too. So he retweeted from SCEMD that said, now is the time to put safety first above everything else. Evacuate to a shelter if you need to. Take your pets with you. Your life is the most important thing to save. And also there is a phone number attached if they need help. And this is in South Carolina. Hurricane Florence still causing some really bad flooding. And one of my best friends, her house actually has a couple feet of water in it right now, and the floors are ruined and a lot of their possessions. So if you could keep them in your thoughts and prayers, that would be so appreciated. And also moving on to President Trump's next tweet. It's a picture today when he was giving remarks at the United Nations General Assembly in New York, and this is when he was talking about the global call to action on the world drug problem. And he said it's definitely something that everyone needs to get together on to work on solving. And also he tweeted out just a couple minutes of committing to fighting the drug epidemic together. So I'm going to let you guys take a look at that.
Thank you all for being here this morning. It is a great honor to address you on an issue that affects every nation across the globe, the world drug problem, and a big problem it is. The scourge of drug addiction continues to claim too many lives in the United States and in nations around the world. Today, we commit to fighting the drug epidemic together. As we know, illicit drugs are linked to organized crime, illegal financial flows, corruption, and terrorism. It's vital for public health and national security that we fight drug addiction and stop all forms of trafficking and smuggling that provide the financial lifeblood for vicious transnational cartels. In the United States, we're taking aggressive action, securing our borders, supporting law enforcement, devoting record funding to the opioid crisis, and promoting treatment and recovery. All of us must work together to dismantle drug production and defeat drug addiction. For this reason, last month, the United States announced a global call to action on the world drug problem. The call is simple: reduce drug demand, cut off the supply of illicit drugs, expand treatment, and strengthen international cooperation. If we take these steps together, we can save the lives of countless people in all corners of the world. And when I say countless, I'm talking about millions and millions of people. I'm thrilled that every country in the room today has agreed to answer our call, and I want to thank each and every one of you for your commitment to this important initiative. The United States looks forward to working with you to strengthen our communities, protect our families, and deliver a drug-free future for all of our children. Thank you very much, and thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Hey guys, hope you enjoyed President Trump's remarks, and we will be going through the rest of his tweets and then some more information for you guys. So here is a picture that he actually posted with President Moon Jae-in of South Korea, and he said, "It was my great honor to welcome and meet with President Jae-in, or Jae-in, hopefully I'm saying that right, of South Korea today in New York City." And earlier we streamed a little later because we weren't able to as it was happening, but earlier we streamed that joint signing for you. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. So some different pictures from right before they went for the signing. You can see Ivanka is there and Press Secretary Sarah Sanders. So he also tweeted out the entire signing ceremony, and I will show you guys just the first minute of that, not the whole thing, because we already streamed that earlier today.
Thank you very much. I'm thrilled to be here today with President Moon of South Korea to formally announce the successful completion of the new U.S.-Korea trade deal. It's a very big deal. This is a great day for the United States and a great day for South Korea. I want to thank President and Vice President. Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much. I'd like to thank our great Vice President Pence for joining us today for the ceremony, and U.S. Trade Representative Bob Lighthizer for his incredible efforts. He's worked very, very hard on this. Thank you all as well to Treasury Secretary Mnuchin and Director of National Economic Council, Larry Kudlow, for their tremendous work. Everybody's worked very, very hard. This is long in coming. Many years, actually, I will say, in coming. In a few moments, we will sign a document pledging that our countries will take the additional necessary steps to implement the new United States-Korea trade agreement. I want to express my gratitude to President Moon and his entire team for their dedicated efforts to reach really what we would call a historic milestone in trade, something that most people thought was not going to be happening. From day one, I promised the American people that I would renegotiate our trade deals to ensure that our agreements were fair and reciprocal. For decades, politicians have talked about fixing broken trade deals only to do absolutely nothing about them. My administration is the first to actually keep our promise and deliver. And in addition to this deal, we have many in the works, and they're fair deals, they're reciprocal deals, and they make a tremendous difference to our workers, our companies, and to the United States as a whole. The new U.S.-Korea agreement includes significant improvements to reduce our trade deficit and to expand opportunities to export American products to South Korea. In other words, we are now going to start sending products to South Korea. These outcomes give the finest American-made automobiles, innovative medicines, and agricultural crops much better access to Korean markets. I think our farmers are going to be extremely happy. It was very limited as to what they could do and what they could send, and now it's an open market, and they're going to be sending a lot more farm products. That makes me feel very good. I love our farmers. As a part of this agreement, we have also secured increased access to America's auto industry. South Korea will double the annual number of American cars sold within. In other words, we used to sell a maximum of 25, and we wouldn't even get to that number. And now we're going to $50,000. We're doubling it per manufacturer, and that's a doubling. So it's 50,000 per manufacturer cars, and that's each year. So that's a doubling of the cars per manufacturer that can enter its market, meeting U.S. safety standards. So we're going with now a U.S. safety standard. The standard was at a point that you couldn't get cars in. So we're going to the U.S. safety standard. Very important to understand. This agreement will reduce bureaucracy and increase prosperity in both of our countries. Workers in South Korea and America will find new customers and new opportunities to expand and grow. Our teams will be working hard to ensure that the terms of the deal are fully implemented. President Moon, I just want to tell you we've developed a great relationship on many different fronts. This one is on trade, but we're working very well on North Korea. A lot of very positive things are happening with Chairman Kim of North Korea, and you'll be hearing about that over the coming weeks. But I think some really, really important things are happening. As I said just a little while ago, we have an agreement to work out another summit, and we look forward to doing that. I'm going to be meeting with Chairman Kim in the not-too-distant future. The location is being worked on, the time is being worked on, and we'll be announcing it. As far as these negotiations, our two countries have set an example of friendship and cooperation for trade that rarely you see in this age. And I just want to tell you I'm very honored to be a part of it, and I'm honored to call you a friend, and I'm honored to say that the United States and South Korea have a great friendship together. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
So those were President Trump's remarks. Hopefully you enjoyed them. In the rest of the video, you will hear it translated in Korean, and then the South Korean president delivers his remarks as well, and then they're translated in English. So we're going to take a second to go through the rest of President Trump's tweets before we move on to our next story of the night. So this was a good one. Just a few hours ago, President Trump tweeted out, Brett Kavanaugh and his wife Ashley will be interviewed tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern on @Martha McCallum at Fox News. This is an outstanding family who must be treated fairly. And it really was a good interview. As soon as I realized it was on, I stopped everything I was doing and just watched the whole thing. So go watch it. Go to foxnews.com. Check it out. Really good. And President Trump also tweeted out joint statement on the United States-Korea Free Trade Agreement. And this is great. Actually have not shared this with you guys. So we're going to take a second and look at it. It's from the whitehouse.gov, and it is the official joint statement. And it says, we, the Presidents of the United States of America and the Republic of Korea, hereby reaffirm our close alliance and the importance of maintaining strong, mutually beneficial trade and economic ties between our peoples. We welcome the successful conclusion of negotiations between our governments that have resulted in amendments and modifications to improve the United States-Korea Free Trade Agreement. With today's signing of our newly concluded agreement, we pledge to direct our officials to move forward with additional steps as required in our respective countries to bring the updated agreement into force as soon as practicable. We furthermore welcome this achievement as tangible evidence of the strength of the relationship between our two countries, and where they signed right here on that official document, I'm guessing. So going back, he also tweeted out some more pictures from the first day at the United Nations General Assembly. He says, it was my great honor to welcome the President of Egypt to the United States this afternoon in New York City. Great meetings, #UNGA. And British Patriot, they said presidents plural because it was a joint statement. I see that you had a question about that with President Trump and President Moon Jae-in of South Korea. So here are pictures of President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence greeting the President of Egypt. And he also tweeted out, it was my great honor to welcome President Emmanuel Macron of France to the United States here in New York City this evening. And you can see Mike Pence shaking Emmanuel Macron's hand. And he also tweeted out what looks to be a little recap of today. Share that with you guys real quick. And we also wanted to share with you guys why the Phoenix, Arizona rally is not happening yet. I know we've been talking about it, but it is not happening yet. Have some information on that for you from azcentral.com. So President Trump will not be making an appearance in Phoenix this month, and no presidential visit is on the books for the near future. And this is according to court documents filed Thursday. So attorneys for the city of Phoenix filed the papers in an ongoing class action lawsuit lodged in part by the Arizona chapter of the American Civil Liberties Union. Thursday's notice was in response to a motion earlier this week in which the ACLU requested a court to enjoin the Phoenix Police Department in case anti-Trump protests accompanied the rumored rally. So they said the city of Phoenix has confirmed that President Trump will not be appearing in Phoenix in September of 2018. No appearance by the president in Phoenix is currently scheduled. And the ACLU motioned Tuesday for the temporary restraining order based on news reports about a presidential visit. And while the rumor mill has churned for weeks about when and where President Trump might host a campaign-style rally, details remain sparse at best. And a President Trump trip to Arizona is still widely believed to be in the works in the coming weeks to help bolster Republican chances of holding a majority in the U.S. Congress. Attorneys in their Tuesday motion wrote that the dynamics outside of a President Trump rally in Phoenix would likely mirror what happened August 22nd, 2017, when officers deployed tear gas and fired projectiles at a group of protesters outside the Phoenix Convention Center. And those actions are the subject of a class action lawsuit lodged against Phoenix and Police Chief Jerry Williams earlier this month in U.S. District Court, filed on behalf of activist groups Puente, Arizona, and Poder in Action, and 4 named residents. The lawsuit claims police used excessive force while dispersing crowds last year. So it's not that President Trump does not want to hold a rally in Arizona. Of course he does. They are just trying to avoid a repeat of what happened last year. And Kathy Brody, who is actually the Arizona legal director of the ACLU, wrote in a statement this week, "We feel compelled to ask a judge to step in, especially because city leadership's praise of the Phoenix Police Department's violent actions in August 2017 all but guarantees the same violent conduct will be repeated." And Phoenix attorneys on Thursday requested the ACLU withdraw its request for a restraining order, as they said they would if it was announced President Trump would not appear in the city. And the ACLU later Thursday said it was withdrawing the restraining order request. So hoping to still have a rally in Phoenix this year. It just will not be anytime soon, obviously not in September. So stay tuned for that. We will, of course, keep you updated with the newest information. And this is great. Thank you so much, British Patriot, for another article. This one came out today too. It's from LifeZette. And it says, Judge Judy on Kavanaugh accusers, people are supposed to listen to evidence. So TV star and legal authority says everyone involved needs to testify before people can render a decision. So Judge Judy has weighed in on the various sexual misconduct allegations that have been lobbed in the 11th hour against Supreme Court nominee Judge Brett Kavanaugh. And she says she hopes people reserve judgment until they hear actual testimony and evidence. So speaking to TMZ in Beverly Hills, Judge Judy, as she's known, said, "Our hopes that people wait and don't rush to judgment and listen to both sides of an argument before they make a decision. That's what's supposed to happen in a fair judicial process." And she said she thinks that the testimony by both Kavanaugh and his accusers about the events in question is the best step forward for the confirmation process. And she said there's always the hope that the reason people will listen to both sides of an argument before they make a judgment call. That's what people are supposed to do. They're not supposed to rush to judgment on either side. They're supposed to listen to evidence and then make a judgment. And if that doesn't happen, then the end result is not fair. So she did not say whether she believes Judge Kavanaugh is innocent or not. So Judge Judy is 75 years old. She's been the center of a self-titled reality program for an astonishing 23 seasons and over 6,000 episodes. So during Judge Judy, she presides over actual civil suit cases. The program began in 1996 and still runs to this day. Clips from the series often go viral and remain the most popular courtroom set reality program. Now, though the judge would not render any verdict at the time on whether Kavanaugh is innocent or not, President Donald Trump has made his stance on the matter clear. The president recently wrote on Twitter, "I am with Judge Kavanaugh." And he said for people to come out of the woodwork from 36 years ago and never mentioned it, all of a sudden it happened, totally political. So also Judge Jeanine Pirro, who also had her own courtroom reality series and now hosts a Fox News program, has also weighed in on the Kavanaugh situation and says she's concerned about due process. She said, "Now I fear for her. I fear for Lady Justice, but not just Lady Justice, our institutions and our bedrock constitutional rules that have made America what Ronald Reagan referred to as the shining city on the hill. We can never allow that to happen," she said over the weekend on her show, Justice with Judge Jeanine. Also, thank you so much. Wanted to shout out, we just received a $24.99 donation from Last Cigarette. Thank you so much, Last Cigarette, for that generous donation. Really, really appreciate you. And going back to my Twitter, checking out what else you guys have to send me. And I'm really thankful for everyone so far that has sent me stories tonight. Definitely makes my job a little bit easier. And I love sharing with you stories that I know will matter to you because you sent them yourselves. So thank you so much for all that you've sent so far. And for those of you that may not know much about Right Side, I want to tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. So we're actually a conservative online news network, and we are independent. We're not corporate. So our agenda is to just bring you the news and to bring you real news. Now, we do broadcast just like this, but we're also really blessed to be able to travel to President Trump rallies all around the country. We follow him wherever he goes, and it's so much fun, such an honor to do that. And something RSBN is really known for is just showing the crowds. We became famous for that a couple years ago during President Trump's election. And it's really fun to just get in the middle of the crowd, to just get to know everyone, to hear their stories, why they're there, and to really just learn what matters to them. And so we're really thankful that we are able to do that. Now we have 2 rallies coming up, one this Saturday in Wheeling, West Virginia, and one on Monday in Johnson City, Tennessee. And now, as you can imagine, these rallies are very expensive, at a minimum of $5,000 each for just plane tickets, gas, rental cars, hotels, or Airbnbs, whatever it is. We always do the cheapest option, but like I said, still really expensive. And we can't get there without your donations and support. So we're really thankful for everyone that has donated and supported us so far. Thank you so, so much. So one way you can do that is actually right here on the YouTube chat. All you have to do is click the $sign on the super chat and you will be able to donate. It'll come up in a bright color with your name, and super fun, easy way to donate. Of course, I'll read your message to everyone as long as it's appropriate. And a couple other ways you can donate. All you have to do is go to our website, which is rsbnetwork.com/donate. You'll see those different options. We have PayPal, Patreon if you want to be a monthly donor, and then also our P.O. box where you can send a check directly to us. And also, looks like just got some positive stories. Love ending the nightly news recap on positive stories. Again, from the British Patriot. Thank you so much for these. This is really sweet. This one is actually from, looks like 3 days ago, and there's a video that I will get ready for you guys too. It's from Fox News, and it's that a Navy veteran and single mom gets a surprise after cops pull her over. So a single mother who had been down on her luck recently got a bit of a blessing when she was pulled over recently. Brittany Payne was driving in Bremerton, Washington, with her 15-month-old son in the back when she saw the blue and red lights flashing behind her. She said, I looked in my rearview mirror and saw him whip around, and I'm like, God, I don't need this right now. What am I doing? And Bremerton police officer Stephen Forbrigad told the news station that he pulled Payne over because she was missing the front license plate of her car, and she was almost in tears right away, pretty much, he added. She said she's a single mom and didn't have the tools to put the plates on. And 2 other officers stopped as well and helped Payne install the license plate. One of those officers, Johnny Rivera, started talking with Payne, and they connected about both serving in the U.S. Navy. Payne said she was a gunner's mate, while Rivera said he was a machinist mate. And instead of giving Payne a fine for failing to have the front license plate, Rivera gave her a $25 voucher from the United Way to help her buy clothes for her son. And Payne told the station, I just thought it was going to be another kick to me, and they definitely surprised me. She said her interactions with police have not always been positive, but this one definitely was. And Payne shared a photo of the ticket voucher on Facebook and raved about the police officers. And she wrote, I can say that I have been extremely let down by law enforcement and the court system in the past due to past life situations, but this definitely... Daryl Phillips. Well, if your name is Daryl, thank you for that. Really appreciate you. And also going to share with you guys one more story, really another super sweet story that the British Patriot shared with us. It's from Fox News 2, that a Texas shelter puppy actually finds a home working with dispatchers at the city's communication center. And really an adorable puppy. I'll switch over so you guys are able to see it. And his name is Squelch. And I'll leave that up for a second as we go through this. So a shelter puppy recently adopted in Texas has a new job working as a sergeant at the Borger Regional Communications Center, city officials announced this week. The puppy named Squelch was rescued from the city of Borger Animal Shelter and is now receiving 24/7 around-the-clock love and care from dispatchers, the city said in a statement posted on Facebook. And the pup, more specifically known as Sergeant Squelch with badge number 911, will soon be making his debut with dispatchers as they conduct school programs and community events, the city added. So the city, which did not specify Squelch's breed, added the 3-month-old pup was adopted after officials with the Borger Regional Dispatch Center inquired about allowing a dog to be a permanent member of the team. And officials said, we thought it was a great idea. While Sergeant Squelch is not an official service animal, administration strongly believes he will be extremely beneficial after times of extreme stress in the day-to-day duties of dispatch. And dispatchers in Borger who answer 911 calls in Hutchinson County said having a dog around the office will be a positive change. And Melissa Edgerton, a dispatcher, told the news station to have a little stress relief when I can't get up and leave the room if I can just reach down and pet him or just knowing that he's there. And she says sometimes he likes to sleep under our feet, under the desks, so just knowing he's there when you can't get out to relieve the stress, it really helps. And they posted a couple more pictures of him. And the city invited local residents to drop by the Borger Municipal Building to meet the new pup. Really, really sweet story. Thank you so much, British Patriot, for sharing that with us. And thank you everyone else that contributed stories and honestly just contributed your time by watching tonight and your donations as well. Really appreciate each and every single one of you. And I hope that you all have a fantastic night. Thank you so much for tuning in to my nightly news recap. And I hope you guys have a fantastic night, and I will see you tomorrow. And once again, for Right Side Broadcasting Network, I'm Alyssa Ashe.